What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, #1 best-selling author, award-winning science fiction creator, and all-around fun guy. All right, I've got my book, The Stars Entwined, and several other books on Amazon. If you like science fiction, fantasy, comic books, I am the author for you. I've got a lot. I work my tail off to make sure that I produce great books and produce them often so you have a real alternative to mainstream culture where they cancel everything. All the corporations cancel everything, and a lot of the guys who are even being canceled now have been a complacent part of it for a long time. But I've been fighting it since day one, and you can count on me to always do so. So please support the channel, read the books. My links to Amazon, my links to Patreon are in the description below. I appreciate everybody who helps out and gets us going. The more that we, of course, build an audience, the more we can do, and the further we can push our awesome books. All right. The story of the day is Monty Python icon Terry Gilliam has new stage production canceled after staff uproar of transphobic views. This is interesting. You looked at the other day when I made a video about the Image staff getting together to, quote, unionize to stop, racist, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, transphobic, whatever phobic views from being published at Image. You see this whole sweeping push of just trying to make sure everybody, even legends in comedy, are destroyed for anything that violates their SJW narrative. It's gone so far, so crazy in the last 20 years. If you remember how it originally was, it was, oh yeah, just allow, the gay people just want to visit their loved ones in hospitals and that's not being allowed to them. Why would you care about that? It doesn't impact you. And now, of course, they're singing songs about converting your children and grooming them, and that seems to be the push in culture. It's a new form of minor attracted persons is the politically correct way to say that. But we're not allowed to talk about any of that. We're not allowed to associate any of that with these degenerate movements. We're not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to even say anything funny in regards to these groups. You're supposed to only make fun of straight white Christian people and nobody else. That is the only comedy that's allowed. And it's so funny. So we're a little tired at this point. So Terry Gilliam, of course, has, through Monty Python, of course, that was making gay jokes for decades when it wasn't allowed because you weren't even supposed to talk about it in polite society. Maybe we had a better society at that point than we did today. And maybe Terry Gilliam and his company actually opened the doors towards what's going on today. Something to think about. But he had his stage production canceled with workers revolting over the fact that he said a few years ago that he identified as a black lesbian in transition. Now, you're not allowed to question that in theory. I'm allowed to identify as a black lesbian in transition in theory. But of course you say that, and if they don't believe you and you're the wrong person, you just get torched and destroyed. Some people can do this and actually be mentally ill and think they actually are these things, and they're supposed to be applauded. So you see there's zero consistency in any of this. There's zero science behind any of it. It doesn't make any sense when you can look at Terry Gilliam and, of course, know that he's obviously not a black lesbian, or myself, the same. But some people who look like me or Terry get to have these rights conferred upon them because they are, I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to stop trying to make any of this make sense anymore in Clown World because that's where we're at this point. But it was pretty funny. Of course, when you see these sorts of things going on, you see that there is a certain percentage of the population doing this and using those sorts of things to get ahead in the workplace, to get ahead in Hollywood, to get ahead in the arts all the time. You start to think it's pretty funny to say something like that. Well, that's a little much for today's critics. How dare a white man say such a thing? And that's all it comes down to at the end of the day. All right. It goes further, though. What pushed one of the staff members, according to Russia Today, is that he showed support on social media for Dave Chappelle, who was also telling jokes about every class, about every person, about every race and gender and whatever you want to call it. And you're not allowed to do that. Dave Chappelle was supposed to be canceled. He was supposed to be destroyed. And if you show any support for anybody who's canceled anymore, if you treat them like humans, if you treat them like professionals, you must be canceled also, because the mob is not satisfied unless you're a part of the mob as well. That's how far things have gone. That's how crazy everything's gotten. I try to fight back against that. I try to feature people who have been canceled. I try to help out those who are the victims of this and the victims of the association game as much as I possibly can. And I think we all need to band together to do so. We need to uncancel the canceled as much as we possibly can. And that's going to be the only way really to fight this. It's a very interesting and scary time we live in, that a social media post like this, where he says, I'm encouraging you all to watch Dave Chappelle's new show, The Closer, on Netflix. To me, he's the greatest stand-up comedian alive today. Incredibly intelligent, socially aware, dangerously provocative, and gut-wrenchingly funny. Oh no, what a terrible statement. Imagine that, liking a comedian. That is enough to ruin your career as a legend in comedy yourself in 2021. All right, let me know what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.